akan mulai pembelajaran kali ini, marilah kita berdoa dulu. Silakan duduk salah satu siswa di sini.
Baiklah kawan-kawanku, sebelum kita mulai pelajaran pada hari ini, maka kita berdoa. Berdoa, mulai. Doa, selesai.
Sebelum pembelajaran, silakan dicek apakah ada sampahnya. Kalau ada sampahnya, saya persilakan untuk buang. Bagaimana kabarnya hari ini?
Baik.
Sudah sarapan?
Belum.
Saya absen dulu ya.
Ya.
Muhammad Ali. Muharram. Mana? Sakit. Roy Wahyu. Ada ya? Ke belakang ya? Roy Wahyu.
Ya.
Aditya Nurbasid. Sakit. Aditya Brahma Putra. Aisyah. Anjay. Oh enggak ada ini. Alvina. Alwi. Antika. Anggiani. Anggun. Anissa.
Udah masuk.
Kemana?
Sakit.
Artistia.
Udah masuk. Sakit.
Sakit juga. Bayu.
Udah masuk.
Desi.
Masuk.
Masuk.
Dewi. Kiki. Dinan. Udah masuk. Sakit juga.
Ya.
Dio.
Masuk.
Masuk. Pak Irus.
Ya.
Kalau pelajaran yang kemarin, pertemuan yang kemarin, itu tentang apa?
Tipografi.
Apa itu tipografi?
Bentuk tulisan.
Terus dalam tipografi apa saja yang harus diperhatikan?
Teknik.
Dasar tipografi apa aja? Kemarin teknik dasarnya, label tipis,
Warna.
terus tata letaknya sama garisnya. Kalau jenis hurufnya apa aja? Masih ingat semuanya kan? Kemarin Bu Wahyu sudah ngasihkan tugas kalian.
Sudah.
Kemarin bikin apa? Sketsa? Hari ini kalian praktekkan bikin posternya di aplikasi. Silakan kalau mau pakai Corel boleh, pakai apa lagi? Photoshop boleh, pakai Adobe Illustrator boleh. Silakan langsung praktek waktunya. Setelah praktek nanti, habis praktek nanti ada yang presentasi di depan. Kalian menjelaskan jenis hurufnya itu apa, warnanya itu gimana, terus kontras warnanya, kenapa kok pilih itu. Siap? Untuk mengingat lagi, kembali lagi, mengingat kemarin pembelajaran apa aja, saya mau menampilkan ada satu video lagi. Silakan nanti disimak ya.
It's everywhere we look. In the books we read, on the websites we visit, even in everyday life, on street signs, bumper stickers, and product packaging. Simply put, typography is the style or appearance of text. It can also refer to the art of working with text, something you probably do all the time if you create documents or other projects for work, school, or yourself. Typography can be an intimidating subject, but it doesn't have to be. You only need to know a little to make a big difference in the stuff you do every day. So let's get started. First, some common types of fonts and what you need to know about them. Serif fonts have little strokes called serifs attached to the main part of the letter. Because of their classic look, they're a good choice for more traditional projects. They're also common in print publications, like magazines and newspapers. Sans serif fonts don't have that extra stroke, hence the name, which is French for without serif. This style is considered more clean and modern than serif fonts. Also, it tends to be easier to read on computer screens, including smartphones and tablets. Display fonts come in many different styles, like script, black letter, all caps, and just plain fancy. Because of their decorative nature, display fonts are best for small amounts of text. For example, titles and headers, and more graphic-heavy designs. In a way, fonts have their own language. They all have something to say beyond the words on the page. They can come across as casual or neutral, exotic or graphic. That's why it's important to think about your message and pick a font that fits. Some fonts come with extra baggage, like Comic Sans, Curls, Papyrus, and many more. There's nothing particularly wrong with these fonts. They just have a certain reputation for being outdated and overused. If you find yourself tempted by them, think twice and consider using something else. There are many fonts with a similar look and feel that are less likely to detract from your message. When deciding which fonts to use, less is more. It's best to limit yourself to 1 or 2 per project. If you need more contrast, try repeating one of your fonts in a different size, weight, or style. This trick is practically foolproof for creating interesting combinations that work. You've probably heard the saying, opposites attract. Well, the same is true for fonts. Don't be afraid to combine font styles that are different but complementary, like sans serif with serif, short with tall, or decorative with simple. This can be challenging at first, but don't despair. Look to other designs for inspiration, and soon you'll get the hang of it. Maybe you've heard terms like kerning, leading, tracking, and hierarchy. For those with more experience, these concepts are essential for creating professional-looking designs. As a beginner, you don't need to know everything about these terms, just enough to inform your work and help you talk about design with more confidence. Hierarchy is used to guide the reader's eye to whatever is most important. In other words, it shows them where to begin and where to go next, using different levels of emphasis. Establishing hierarchy is simple. Just decide which elements you want the reader to notice first, then make them stand out. High-level items are usually larger, bolder, or different in some way. Remember to keep it simple and stick to just a few complementary styles. Leading is the space between lines of text, also known as line spacing. If you're not sure how much line spacing to use, don't fret. The default is usually fine. The goal is to make your text as comfortable to read as possible. Too much or too little spacing can make things unpleasant for the reader. Tracking is the overall space between characters, sometimes called character spacing. Most programs let you condense or expand this depending on your needs. In some designs, you might adjust your tracking to create a certain artistic effect. It can also help you fix fonts that are poorly spaced to begin with. Kerning is the space between specific characters. Unlike tracking, it varies over the course of the word because each letter fits together differently. Some fonts have what we call bad kerning, making certain letters look improperly spaced. If a font you're using has bad kerning, it's best to cut your losses and choose something else. Well-crafted text can mean the difference between an ordinary project and an extraordinary project, even if you're just getting started with design. All it takes is an interest in typography, and you'll start to notice more, see more, and be able to do more in your own work. We hope you enjoyed learning the basics of typography. Check out the rest of our design topics, including color, images, and composition.
Kalau media tipografi contohnya apa aja?
Majalah,
Orang
Terus
papan iklan, banner.
poster dan sabun buku. Sudah selesai semuanya? Ada yang mau presentasi ke depan hasilnya? Ya, silakan. Diperhatikan teman yang
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya di sini akan mempresentasikan poster lingkungan. Ini ada contoh poster lingkungan. Saya menggunakan font seri dan nasari. Dan pewarnaannya juga saya menggunakan gelas terang.
jenis fontnya itu apa?
Seri sama seri.
Yang buang sampah itu jenis fontnya apa?
Seri.
Yang buang sampah? Kalau pada tempatnya?
Jangan seri.
Seri. Dia plus untuk temennya.
Dan dari saya, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Dia plus untuk temennya. Jadi Anggun di sini hasil karyanya Anggun itu pada kata buanglah sampah itu jenis hurufnya apa? Seri. Kalau yang pada tempatnya itu atau apa?
Yang menggunakan siri.
Menggunakan sirip. Terus kalau dia di koruptor dan sampah dia pakai teknik dasarnya apa? Pakai teknik dasarnya ruang kosong dan tata letaknya. Terus habis itu dia pakai apa lagi? Menggunakan bentuk atau simbol. Sudah? Ada yang mau bertanya? Tidak ada. Saya rasa cukup. Terus kalau kita review dulu pelajaran kali ini, jenis hurufnya apa aja tadi tipografi? Sama screen, satunya. Ini yang belum ada apa ini? Dekoratifnya. Terus kalau tekniknya apa aja?
Tekniknya
Ada yang mau bertanya? Nggak ada. Untuk pertemuan berikutnya, karena tipografi saya rasa sudah cukup, berarti pertemuan berikutnya adalah bab selanjutnya, yaitu 3.3, yaitu tentang gambar dan ilustrator. Nanti kalian minggu depan untuk pelajaran berikutnya belajar tentang gambar dan ilustrator. Untuk mengakhiri pembelajaran kali ini, silakan dipimpin doa.
Marilah kawan-kawanku, sebelum kita mengakhiri pelajaran pada hari ini, maka kita berdoa. Doa. Selesai.
Terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Saya minta maaf kalau ada salah kata.